All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun. We're back talking more X-Men 97 comic book. And today we're talking about issue number 3. I've been having so much fun doing these comic videos, and I just don't plan on stopping. I don't really care who watches them, how many people watch them. I'm enjoying myself, and I like sharing these stories. And I like having just a fun time on the channel because, like, we cover so much stuff that's like, it can be so doom and gloom, and we talk about so many heavy topics that, like, comic books, man, are just such a fun way to we can still find ways to talk about, like, what's going on in our world today. But this is, for me, like a nice way to just completely check out and jump into the world of comic books. And I'm so happy that I started with X-Men 97 number 3, or this one of the series that I've started with. I'm doing Gambit's original miniseries from 93, 94. We're doing Wolverine Madripoor Nights, and we're also doing The Nice House on the Lake. And as each book ends, we'll be picking up something else. And there's so much fun stuff that I have planned to talk about. X-Men related, especially. Wolverine related, especially. And I want to just thank everybody who's enjoying these, because it's fun to tinker around and part of, like, and try new things. And this was really where I wanted my channel headed comics wise for so long. And so here we are, and we're doing it. And so last time, to just jump into this book to talk about it, like where we've been, where we're going. Last time we left off with the X-Men 97 crew. Hazard, a character from Charles Xavier's past and comic book past, shows up to destroy the school, and basically, I guess he's trying to kill them. I don't know. Like, he blames Professor Xavier for things that happened to him. Xavier in the comics, and Juggernaut's dad and this guy's dad all were into some experimentation, and this kid's back for revenge for what was done to him. Except Xavier's gone. On another front, we've got Wolverine and Storm, who Wolverine was, drinking his troubles away over Jean's pregnancy announcement. And then the Marauders show up, who are the next step that Sinister is sending after the Nasty Boys failed. I almost feel like it's like a passing of the torch. I don't know if the Nasty Boys are in X-Men 97, but it feels like in this book, the Nasty Boys were basically saying, we're out with the Nasty Boys, in with the Marauders, stepping it up, even though these are still characters from like the 1980s and look it, and 90s, and I mean, they still are around, but like the way that they look in the book, the way they looked on the show, and in the books, it's a little dated, but still, these are Sinister's guys from way back, and I really like that a lot. And then on another front, so they're attacking Wolverine and Storm. And then on another front, we've got Sienna Blaze attacking the Blackbird with Rogue, Gambit, Bishop, and Jubilee, who are just coming back from the Dazzler concert, where they got into some shenanigans there too. And so we've got like a threefold action scene, like, this is an action-packed book, plenty of dialogue. Still lots of fun. I'm glad that I read this before. I didn't get this digitally. I didn't get this floppy yet. Sorry, I donated plasma today, so I didn't get the floppy. I didn't get the comic yet. It's at the store, but I really wanted to talk about it. That's why I'm holding the laptop in the thumbnail. Because I'm like reading it off my computer. I was trying to think of some way to like show that I'm reading this book, and I just grabbed my laptop. So this carries on right over, just another action-packed book, except this time at the end of issue 2, Morph shows up, and so I really wanted to talk a little bit about Morph. I wanted to dive into the voice actor, because when I was a kid, Morph was like, there was like a shape-shifting character originally in the X-Men. And by original, I mean like in the original comics, going way back to X-Men number 35 a million years ago, back in the 60s. Um, and so most people, to him, to anybody else, like he just looks like a guy who's he's buff. His head doesn't match his body. His voice doesn't match his body. It was a really weird performance. Everybody was expecting, like, I think everybody pretty much got what they wanted out of the main cast of characters as far as like representing how they look and how they sound. I think that was all pretty, what you could hear in your head. And in fact, I mean, I still hear the X-Men 97 cast when I read the books. And that's how I do it here when I read the books out loud. I try to do their voices as close as I can because that's just what I hear. But him showing up, his voice, just that kind of like, hello, Wolverine. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't really know what they were ever going for back then. But I still liked the character. But they also, like, he was, I guess they wanted to give us a character that we wouldn't mind seeing disappear. Because, I mean, yeah, it's like spoilers. Morph's killed in like the first couple of episodes. Like, I'd call it the first episode, but it's kind of like it carries over into the second. But he's not really dead because it's comic books. And we find out that Sinister had been using this guy the whole time. He's in his head. Wolverine goes and gets him. And he's one of those characters that just kind of pops in and out of the show. So it's not like we really had to spend tons of time with this character. But now he's back full time as far as I know in X-Men 97, the series. Again, I haven't watched it. I'm still waiting to do what I want to do with this. Plus, I want to do it after I'm done covering the comic. But he did come back into the 97 series, apparently, in 2 episodes as President Kelly. But he's all over this one. And I'm really happy that they kind of went with just the straight chameleon look from Spider-Man's villains, Rogues Gallery. He looks more like Chameleon, and I think that's just much more simple to just have him look like that. Like how Mystique is just, herself, anyway. But there's not just morph in this. Okay, we also got to talk about, there's a flashback in this where they talk about where Wolverine flashes back to his old Weapon X days with Sabretooth and Maverick. Now, Maverick showed up only like in one real we saw him through into somebody's mind. We saw an image of him early on, but it wasn't him. He was only in, I think, like one episode, like as far as like being more than just an image in somebody's mind, seeing this guy. So I do think that I don't know if he shows up in the new series or not, but this is the first time we're seeing him here, at least in the comic book. And I wanted to bring up him too, because he's an interesting character as well, because when they introduced like those flashbacks in X-Men, this being like X-Men number 4 and number 5, where these are the first books that Claremont wasn't on, and they brought in John Byrne to team up with Jim Lee to write these couple of issues. And that means like John Byrne had, 2 more character credits along with Jim Lee. They created Omega Red together, and they created Maverick. And when you saw those flashbacks in those books, starting in X-Men number 5 for Maverick, I don't know. I'm hope that like I was like not the only person who was like, we love our mysterious guys in masks, don't we? We love our Boba Fett type mysterious. Who's the guy behind the mask? What's his powers? What can he do? Is he a bad guy, a good guy? Is he going to hinder our hero or help our hero or both? Same thing. Like Deadpool was around that time too. So, we were getting all these guys just with really, for some reason, we were just drawn to the way that these characters looked so much. But he showed up, first off in X-Men number 5 back in February of 92. John Byrne, Jim Lee co-created. His real name is Christoph Nord. He's German. He's also gone by the name Agent Zero. He's been in the CIA, Weapon X, Team X. He's an expert marksman. He's basically a super spy, like a Swiss Army knife of a mercenary. Like He's a one-man Mission Impossible force. Impossible Mission Force. Sorry, IMF. I'm trying to think of Tom Cruise Mission Impossible form. But he also, his mutant power is kinetic absorption and redistribution, and he has a bit of a healing factor. He also has no scent, and he at one point had an anti-healing factor, acid. Um, I say had because I believe his powers were taken away on M Day. That's the No More Mutants Day that Scarlet Witch did. That basically wiped out most of the mutants on the planet. He was played by Daniel Henry in X-Men Origins Wolverine. And his backstory is that he killed his brother in the East Germany West Germany conflict. He also killed his pregnant spy wife, who was a double agent, and he killed her. And so these two traumas kind of drove him to Team X. And then hired by a former Team X member to prevent Omega Red from obtaining this device that he had. Oh man, I can't remember what they call them now. It's like the fiber, the weird, crazy stuff that Omega Red is made of. Damn it, I don't know why I didn't write that down. But later, he is critically injured by Sabretooth. He's kind of being strong-armed to join this next group of guys. Also, he kills Dr. Cornelius in X-Men #5, I believe. And that's the guy. Dr. Cornelius is the main Weapon X scientist that you always see in flashbacks. The guy in the certain kind of glasses. He looks like a mad scientist. But later he's trying to be strong armed into joining another task force. But Sabretooth he doesn't want to. But Sabretooth basically mortally wounds him, so that they have to genetically modify him, and that's when he becomes Agent Zero. After becoming Agent Zero, he kind of has lost his mind and he's gone crazy. He does a lot of things to just kind of sabotage, I would say, almost his own situations with the people he works for. He's always been kind of a wild card, the guy you don't know who's going to be on your side. I think kind of like Krychek. Sometimes he'd show up with Alex Krychek from the X-Files, by the way, who would sometimes show up with information, but you knew that he was still some sort of self-serving thing, and you figured he'd probably betray you pretty soon anyway. But later on, way back not way back, but most recently, he was captured and saved by Wolverine at a superpowered underground market for his all-purpose tool skill set. Basically, they wanted his ability to be a human Swiss Army knife as far as mercenary powers go. And that is how I milked this book for extra talking points. I think they're fun. It's extra information for you guys. I liked going down these rabbit holes and remembering that some of this extra information. But without further ado, I think it's time to just get right into X-Men 97, #3. All right, so let's jump in. Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, Bishop, Beast, Jubilee, Children of the Atom, students of Charles Xavier, mutants, feared and hated by the world they have sworn to protect. These are the strangest heroes of all. These are the X-Men. As Cyclops takes up the reins of leadership of the X-Men from his departed mentor, Professor X, mutant kind moves into a brave new world in which public opinion has begun to sway towards acceptance. This does not sit well with the factions of humankind, unwilling to give up on the hate and fear. Meanwhile, darker threats head the X-Men's way in the form of the Marauders, a team of evil mutants who have ambushed the heroes, led by Sabretooth at the behest of Mr. Sinister. This is written by Steve Fox, artist Salva Espin, colorist Matt Milla, VC's Joe Sabino. Let's go. Westchester. This is Tris Tilby reporting from downtown, where a superpowered bar brawl has spilled out onto the streets, endangering the local populace. who will be completely fine thanks to the fast action of several devastatingly attractive mutant heroes. In fact, my whole news crew will now be evacuating to a safe distance. Ah! You dropped your camera. Ah, well, the perils of effective crowd control. Civilians cleared. You ready to smash some marauders, Logan? It's good to have you back, Morph. Feels like old times. Pretty cool that they immediately are like, we're in that universe. Like, the Hulk is part of it. And it's, you know, it's saying it's not separate right there. I love that. Nostalgia, eh? That calls for a classic move. Too bad I don't have any. So how about a mean green slow ball special instead? Thwack. Oh, hey, Storm. Long time no see. You are a welcome sight, Morph, even in that form. But you'll forgive me if I focus on the battle at hand before any warm reunions. Kasha! You two can handle those jokers. Sabretooth is mine. Grr. Always biting off more than you can chew, runt. Freeze! Wham! Ah! This one's all yours, Logan. My name is Agent Carl Denty. For the crime of public endangerment, I hereby place all mutants in the vicinity under arrest. And I do mean all. So this is Val Cooper's guy that we knew was already going to be headed this way. At the same time in Central Park, the the entire planet's electromagnetic field coursing through me. Feels like every bone in my body is going to rattle loose. More than you can handle, Southern Belle. I admit your little leech effect drained me, but it's worth it to see an X-Man struggle with forces it takes years to even begin to control. You two handle LaFolle. Gambit will tend to Rogue. That girl had her full serving of Cuckoo Puffs today. Archives didn't have an entry for Sienna Blaze. Maybe it's because we take her down today. For good. Crackle. Poof. Or maybe it's because I always escape you do-gooders. So she can teleport too. Great. Psh. Remy, I can't describe this power to you. One wrong move and I could mess with the whole planet's electromagnetic field. Then it's a good thing you're in control, no? You come a long way since Gambit first laid eyes on you. I can handle the raw power, Remy. That ain't the problem. But even Sienna don't know how to keep her abilities in check. That's because Sienna Blaze don't care about no one but herself, Cher. But my Rogue, she's a bona fide hero. She care about the whole world. There's a moment. I love it. That's very is it X-Men 48? I'm thinking somewhere around 45, 48, where they had that iconic cover, and I have the t-shirt. Of course I do. You're right, Remy. But right now, the first thing I care about is getting back at that little brat. We're not getting back at anyone. We're getting back home, unless I can get the Blackbird up and running. Blaze fried our stabilizers. Oh, great. Sykes never going to let me fly the jet at this rate. Bet we wouldn't have crashed if I was the pilot. Upstate at the mansion. You will pay for the sins of your father, Cyclops. All who follow Charles Xavier's cruel example will suffer at the hands of Hazard. At least our uninvited guest has thoroughly introduced himself. Hazard does seem a fitting nom de plume given his destructive capabilities. I've got a shielded beast, but whatever you're doing, I would do it quickly. I am typing with great haste, Gene. My digits may be furry and clawed, but I assure you, they are still capable of activating the mansion's defenses. Slam, 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 slam. Gah! I will not be deterred by steel panels. For decades, I have considered how best to take my revenge on Charles. I wanted to savor the moment, but I can see now that I must not allow any vestige of his legacy to stand even a second longer. Kaboom! And there goes another fence. That's like probably 10 grand right there. What? This isn't fair. I demand vengeance. Gene, you're telekinetically undoing the damage Hazard caused? Yes. So please, Scott, let me concentrate for a moment. I've got you. I'm fine, Scott. Really, I'll be okay. You can't exert yourself like that anymore. Not in your condition. It appears Gene's show of force intimidated Charles' acrimonious acquaintance. The mansion sensors are no longer detecting Hazard anywhere on the grounds. My apologies, Scott. Did you say Gene was contending with some sort of condition? Oh my stars and garters, you don't mean. Not exactly how I hoped to tell you, Hank. The best laid plans of mice and mutants, my dear. Meanwhile, in Westchester, if you think you can barge in here and arrest the X-Men for saving lives, you've got another thing coming, pal. Easy, Wolvie, easy. Save the cost for the bad guys. I'm looking at one, Morph. No, you're looking at life in a cage, mutie, where you belong. Enough. We have had our fill of men in uniforms pointing weapons at us, Agent Denty. Wait a minute. Caught a whiff of his scent earlier and I couldn't place it. But it's all coming back to me now. It's all coming from a long time ago. What's the sitrep, Maverick? Nothing special, Logan. Just some dirty agents selling state secrets to militias. Which ones are we hunting? The dirty agents or the militia? Come on, Creed. We're Team X. They hired us to take them all down. We've been exposed. Leave no survivors. That's the plan, meat. Watch it, Creed. He's got a grenade. Kaboom. Ah! Hey, there's some blood there. I remember you from my mercenary days. You've always been crooked, Denty. He's about to go on a berserker rage. I actually love how they're showing this. I love that with the strain in his face and the eyes. I love it. Wolverine, no! Oh, crack. Looks like you folks have some unfinished business to sort out. Me and the Marauders will leave it to you. See you soon, Logan. Get back here, Creed. I don't know how you buried your crimes, Denty, but I'm going to make real sure they come to light. According to our files, you're an expert on sins of the past. Why, you? Enough, Logan. This man will be held accountable, but not like this. Ooh, it looks like accountability is coming in for a landing right now. Agent Denty, this was not an authorized field mission. You are well aware that the government no longer considers the X-Men to be enemies of the state, and your renegade actions today have allowed the 5 known mutant threats to escape custody. With respect, Dr. Cooper, all mutants are known threats. Dr. Valerie Cooper, I believe it was only hours ago that you assured us the world's leaders had turned a new page in mutant-human relations. It appears not all of your subordinates have caught up to this development. And for that, Miss Monroe, I sincerely apologize, but believe me, Carl Denty will not go unpunished. Effective immediately, you are to be stripped of your rank and position until a court-martial can be arranged. Fine, take my badge. You can't take my morals. Mutants are a danger to this country. And once I get in touch with my friends of humanity contacts, mutants will finally get what they deserve. Back at the mansion. Morph, it's really you. Who else would I be, Jubilee? Oh, wait, I guess I can be anyone else. Including old Snaggletooth. Grr, meow. Oh, yuck. Cut that out, Morph. I'm still annoyed the real Creed and his marauders got off easy back in town. You threw down with Sabretooth tonight? Funny timing. We met a lady named Sienna Blaze just now. Didn't much like her. Knocked us right out of the sky. I'm afraid this mounting coincidence is far from humorous. An armored gentleman announcing himself as Hazard nearly destroyed the mansion late this afternoon. Guess he didn't do a very good job. Mansion looks pretty intact to me. Thanks to Jean, she used her powers to fend him off and undo the damage he caused. Hazard will pay for putting her in that kind of danger. Don't get upset again, Scott. I know I have to be careful. Now that I have our child to think about. You're what now? And then just look at Wolverine still. Just, not enough liquor in the world for that poor guy right now. Jean Grey's family home several days later. Are you sure we can land the jet here? I just know it's going to wreak havoc on the flower beds. I'm sure the Greys won't mind, Hank. They're too busy expecting their first grandchild. Didn't feel like dressing to impress, Logan? Who do I have to impress, Morph? I'd rather be ready to fight if we get attacked. Oh, Scott, is Logan right? Did we make a mistake holding our baby shower at my parents' home? Yes, you did. You deserve to experience a normal motherhood, Jean. That's why we didn't have it at the mansion. None of our enemies know where your family lives. And even if they did, there's no place safer for us than with the rest of the X-Men. Bum, bum, bum. At long last, it's time for my next step in my plan. The world believes the X-Men to be heroes. Let us see if humanity feels the same way once their heroes are responsible for the destruction of an entire town. To be concluded. In the next issue, what a sinister game you play. So, that, my friends, was X-Men 97 number 3. Another really fun blast, action-packed. I still think that it's, as long as you just consider it what it is. It's a Saturday morning cartoon, come to life in the pages, giving us some adaptations of the X characters that we know and love. And honestly, it's still nailing it for me. And it's making me more excited to finally watch X-Men 97. If I had to say anything, I mean, a lot of some of it looks cut and paste, but, hey, what are you going to do? Not everything can be Jim Lee. Not everything can be Andy Kubert, Adam Kubert. I don't know why those are like the first names that come out of my mouth. Any artist out there, man, okay? But hey, it's still fun, and it doesn't take away from anything for me anyway. And I still love doing the voices and carrying it out. So if you guys are enjoying this, make sure to hit that like button on the way out the door, hit the bell for all notifications, leave a comment. Let me know how you liking these as well. Otherwise, we'll be back to finish X-Men 97 number 4 as soon as we can get our hands on either the digital copy or the floppy itself. So have a great day, everybody. Read comics, be good to each other, and I'll see you on the next video, bubs. Bye.